welcome back to Crochet at My House. So this is another different video. It's about the
Switch lite.
Yes, so we got a Switch Lite for Christmas. It was the one thing I didn't show in the what we got for Christmas video. As you can see, it is a yellow Switch Lite. It's got all of its buttons and everything. And we got quite a few different games, and I'm going to show you some of those. Now, if I hold them up like this, you can see we've got quite a few. They are not all standing up the same way. I haven't decided exactly where I'm going to put these. At the moment, I'm keeping them in a drawer, but if you want something updated in the background, I could try and make somewhere for gaming stuff. We got quite a few different types of games, starting with Life and Animal Crossing. These are two very similar games. Animal Crossing you've probably heard of or possibly even played. It is an island game where you fish and catch bugs and decorate your home and all sorts of things. In this one you could even put stuff outside, which is kind of cool. So that's Animal Crossing. And then Life is kind of like it. It's also kind of like Stardew Valley because there's an element of more of an element of farming than there is in Animal Crossing. The way you can do furniture and stuff's different in this. You can quite literally build, like, say, a table from scratch. So you will pick a top and then different legs, and you have to line them up to make the table. And you can paint them and all that sort of thing. So that's quite fun. I haven't played lots. I've played more than Cecile has so far. But I haven't played in it so much that I've started decorating homes yet. I've gotten some of the tools. I have done a little bit of the basics of building because one of the villagers wanted, I think it was a table. Yeah, so I've done a wee bit of that. I haven't caught any fish yet because fishing is different in this than it is in Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing, if you don't know, the way you fish is first you find a fish, which is just kind of a dark shadow in the water. Then you put your rod out into the water and you wait for a certain noise and for the little boy to drop down in the water, and then you press A and you catch the fish. With this, however, you find the fish, you put your rod in, and then when you're catching it, you actually have to reel it in. So you have to do an up arrow for a bit, and then it might want a side arrow or whatever. But I haven't actually caught one yet because the first two I tried broke the string. So I'm going to have to work on that. It's still very much the same for catching bugs. Just use your net. Ta-da. The way you pick things up is different. In Animal Crossing, I think it's Y you press and you pick up whatever you're standing on. This, on the other hand, you just kind of walk over it and you pick it up. So that's interesting. I would recommend this game. Technically, I would recommend both of them, but if you're looking for something that's a little bit more than Animal Crossing, Life is good for that. We've also got a couple of puzzle type games, I guess you would call them. I'm going to categorize all of these as sort of puzzle type games. So first we have Lumo. This is probably one of my least played games so far, but I have played it a little bit. Basically, you kind of run around and you look for things and do the puzzles. Cecile has gotten more ducks than I have, and the way you get ducks is you basically jump off of the platform that you're walking around on and have to jump back on it after landing on the duck. which is kind of tricky. You also find things like keys, and you have to figure out how to get up to different doors using moving platforms. So that's interesting.
The duck even squeaks when you jump on
it. This one is another sort of puzzle kind of adventure game. So you do a lot of running around. There's a fox that sometimes helps you, kind of guide you in the direction. Jumping, finding your way, that's this kind of game. It's also got really, really pretty graphics. If you're more of a casual gamer like me and less of a actually can play the games very well like her, this is good because it's not like very hard. It's quite easy in a way to just run around and have fun. You maybe might not finish the game, but you can still run around and look at the pretty scenery. Then we have Lego Harry Potter. Now this is another type of adventure-y puzzle game. You kind of run around, you break bricks and things, you collect stuff. Sometimes you learn spells in this. I like it. It's something I can play, like being, again, a very casual gamer who's not very good at games. Like, really not very good at games. I can actually play this and figure things out and get somewhere. Partially due to the fact that you don't die. Like, if you were to play Mario, for example, unless you're in a Mario game with checkpoints, if you die, you get sent to the start of the game. This, if you run out of all your hearts, you just die where you're standing and respawn. Much easier. The next two are very similar to each other. There's lots of platforming, jumping, climbing, finding things, and of course completing puzzles. This one is a game where you can play it with two people. Can technically play it as one player, but it's really a two-player game. And so each of you gets to be one of these yarnies, and you're connected to each other by a long piece of yarn. And you just kind of run around, you do puzzles, and you have to help each other do so. Same with this one, you have to run around and help each other with the puzzles. Although both of these are pretty hard for me, I find I prefer this one over this one on just how you do it. This one is more like your basic side scroll game. So you press B to jump, you run in the same direction, you jump, and you do climbing. This one, on the other hand, you have to do the directions. You actually have to move the camera to see where you're going. You have to sometimes put both arms up to climb. And if the thing is too high to climb on, you have to do looking up, so that's one button. Going forward, that's another button. Putting both hands up, that's two buttons. So now we've got 4 buttons. And then, while doing all that, you also have to press the jump button so that you can get to the ledge. That, for me, is near on impossible. Cecile seemingly can do it.
It's easy.
Not any good at that. So I would rather play Unravel. But, the kind of games they are. Then we have a handful of, I would say, oddballs. First up, probably a game just about anybody knows what it is. It's Minecraft. You can build with blocks, you can farm, you can fish, you can run around, adventure, and of course there are googlies that you can fight. So you've got skeletons and creepers and zombies and such to fight in this one. This one does have more players. You can either do it 1 player or you can go up to 4 players. So that's fun. we happen to really like our games where we can have multiple people playing at the same time on the Switch Lite. And I emphasize on that because we have a Switch Lite, we don't have a normal Switch. If you have a normal Switch, in some cases you can actually play with more players and do it on the TV. If you've got a Switch Lite, on the other hand, it's a little bit different. You can play co-op, but you could only play with so many. So the last 3 are all single players and definitely in the oddball category. So first we have Miitopia. So this is an adventure game where everyone has lost their face for some reason because of this guy who's not very nice. And you go on a long adventure doing little battles and finding characters and giving your characters their faces back. So that's interesting. Next we have Lemon Cake. So this is a little bakery game. You make cakes, you have to clean up sometimes and serve your customers. And you also have a sort of farming room where you collect all your ingredients, so your milk, eggs, any sorts of fruits or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And lastly, we have Slime Rancher. So this is a kind of farming game, but for slimes. And the idea is you go and explore the world. You collect all these different slimes, which you can merge together to make bigger slimes, although you can only merge 2, because if you merge up to 3, then you get a tar, and they're not good. Yeah, I quite enjoy this. I can play this one by myself to the most part. I sometimes do get lost in the big maps because they are huge.
And then shouts on me.
But other than that, I can pretty much play this on my own. I'm pretty good at just running around even when it's nighttime and not dying, which Cecile finds kind of scary because what she does when there's tars and things is she kind of goes, ah, and runs and tries to fight them. Whereas me, there could be like, I don't know, 10, 15 tars around and I'll just run straight through them to wherever I'm going. And not mind the fact that they're trying to eat me or anything because they never damage me enough to actually kill me. The only times I've actually died was when I accidentally ran off the edge, or that one time I picked up a big slime while standing with my back facing the water, and because of that I fell in the water. Other than that, I haven't died. So it's a pretty good game, even if you are, like me, very casual, not very good at kind of playing games. Okay, so this is our first try at showing the game on here. If you want us to try and do this again, we totally can. We'll try and figure out a better setup because I can tell this is not perfect, but it gives you an idea. So this is Animal Crossing. I'm just going to head over here. And you can collect Nook Miles in here, which are a thing you use to be able to travel to different places. You can also use them to buy different things. And obviously, as you can tell, we are playing co-op. So we are using our controllers. This is my one. And you can see Cecile is actually running around. Now there is a limit to some of the things you can do in co-op in this specific game. But it's still pretty good. And actually, even though she's a little limited on what she can do right now, with one press of a button I can actually switch who's leading and have Cecile actually be leading, which would mean she'd be able to do all the things that I'm doing, and then I would be doing her little basic run around bits.
And you
can
get
still,
emotions.
Yeah, she can still do emotions, she can still chop trees, she can still technically pick things up, although they get sent to the recycling bin in the service place we were just at. So she can still pick up things, she just can't access her inventory.
And I get teleported.
Yes, and if I run away far enough from her while playing, she will just teleport to wherever I'm going. So that's kind of odd, but it still works. And here we are actually going to the Able Sisters clothing shop, and I thought I would show you this. Oh, I need to put my wand away. I do this. No, I'm not trying to talk to you. I'm trying to turn off. Turn off my thing here so that I can go in here and buy clothes. So this is something that's new about this Animal Crossing game. You actually get to go in a fitting room and try clothes on. And I really love this because in the past ones you could only buy what was available in the room, and I thought that was a little limiting. This way you actually get multiple colours of one item. Oh, I like these socks. These are cool. So that's really nice. Oh, these boots are nice. What colour do you think, Cecil? Brown?
Yeah.
So you can change up all sorts of things. You can even put hats on. I like this hat. Yeah. So I was thinking of possibly doing some live streams like this, if anybody liked it. So please do comment down below if you would like to see us play more games. It doesn't have to be just Animal Crossing. It could be any of the games that we already own. And I did say about Nook Miles, this here is daily stuff you can do to get Nook Miles. But you could also collect from doing all these other tasks. So this one, for example, is planting flowers. Some of them are quite simple. Some of them are a little bit more complicated. But it's still quite fun. And I like having the option of things that you need to do. So tasks. And I did say you get to collect all sorts of things. So you've got insects, fish, and sea creatures. So these you actually go diving for. You have a map, so you're not going to get lost, and even if you did get slightly lost, you can quite literally select where your home is, and it flashes on the map to tell you where it is. Same with villager houses, although they won't always be where their house is. Sometimes you might need to run around looking for them. Got custom designs, got DIY recipes which you collect. And you get them for everything from tools to event items to just basic furniture. I happen to really love these reefs. They're so cute. They have a camera as well, you can take pictures. And if I go over here, Nook gives you just little things that he says each day that could sometimes be interesting. And of course you can talk to just about anybody in this game. Even Sable, although she doesn't really say much most of the time.
I went further with Sable than you have.
Yeah, so I will leave this here and hopefully you enjoy the video. So now we're going to show you all of our accessories that we have. starting with the one thing I have that doesn't have a box. So this is just kind of a basic protective case for your Switch Lite. Obviously you can get these for the big Switches as well, but this is specifically for the Switch Lite. And it just kind of zips and there. This is the back, which is kind of greenish colour, and then it has Nintendo down there, and this is the front. So when I put the Switch in the case, I put it this way up, so that this is facing up, so that the screen's facing up. And here it says Nintendo Switch with a little logo. It's hard to see because it's white. And then this is the inside of the case. So this is where the back of the Switch sits. And then this little flap actually sits over the top of your screen to keep your screen protected. And you can see we have some Switch games there. And then in the top little pocket we have a screen cleaner and instructions for something else I'm going to show. And I quite like this. It's nice and sturdy, so even if you don't have any other sort of case, this will be perfectly fine if you just want to pop it in your backpack or whatever and go and see a friend. It will keep it safe because it's pretty hard. Like it's technically a little bit flexible, but it's pretty solid as well. So that's the first item. Next we're going to move on to this. So this is the Animal Crossing version of the play stand, and here you can see some pictures. So it has different heights it can sit at, and it has a space so that you can charge while you have it on the play stand. And so here it is here. So of course it is just plastic, but I really like it, and I love the Animal Crossing print. And I was really happy when I was looking up about these, because obviously the Switch Lite doesn't have a kickstand. The bigger ones do. So it can't stand up on its own, and I really wanted to play co-op, which is where you play on the Switch Lite with 2 controllers or more. And the only ways to do that is to prop it up somehow. I thought this would be perfect. So when I was looking it up, it turned out that the basic black one, it's the same as this, is the same price. And so I didn't have to decide between getting the cheap black one or the expensive pretty one, because they were the same price, so that made me happy. So here you can see this is the different heights it can sit at, depending on where you need it to be. And this is where it actually sits on, and it's got like little soft rubber parts so that it doesn't get scratched up, and it's got them up here as well. And this gap here is for letting your charger go down so you can charge it while it's standing on here. So we really like this, and would definitely recommend for anyone who wants to play on tabletop. Next, we actually got 2 of these. So these are the 8-bit Do controller. They actually work on multiple things, so even if you don't have a Switch, you could still use them. You could use them on the Switch, of course. Windows, Android, Mac OS, Steam, and Raspberry Pi. Not sure what that is. But the basics are you can use this on a computer as well as your Switch. So it's a very versatile controller that you can play multiple different things. And as you can see, we got the teal colour. And I'm just going to show one of these. So this is what it looks like. And it's got all the different buttons. It's got these ones. And this one you use when you're syncing up to something. This slider here, which you probably won't see, there's an S and an X. You put it to the side with the S when you're connecting it to your switch, but you put it to the side with the X when you're connecting it to other things. I actually connected it up to my iPad the other day there to play Sky, which is a free game by the way, and it was pretty good. It was easier than trying to play using just the controller it gives you on the screen. It has D-pads, so it doesn't have joysticks like the Switch has. And there is a newer model of the 8-bit Do that does have the joysticks, if you're more into that. But I just got this one. We have a home button there. We have the capture button here, so you can take a picture. Yeah, it has all the things you need. And down here you have these 4 little lights. So when you're playing them, like you can have up to 4 at a time. And on here it will show you which controller it is. So when you put both on, if you look at this bit, one will have 1 light and the other will have 2 lights, which is controller 1 and controller 2. Handy. And lastly, we got a carry case for the Switch. And I'll tell you, this looks like a small box. It isn't very big. And the bag looks pretty small too. But all of these things I just showed you fit in that case, along with the chargers. So the charger for your Switch and the charger for the 8-bit Do all fits in there. You can get the stand in there, you can get controllers in there, you can get Switch in there. It's pretty good. I think it's a Japanese product technically. It does have Japanese writing on it, although it was made in China. And it is a shoulder bag, so you can put it on your shoulder, you can put it across, those types of things. And of course, it's again with the same Animal Crossing theme, because we like Animal Crossing. And here's the bag. So this is the strap, which has a giant clip. Same kind of clip you would find on a children's car seat. Very sturdy. And this is something I love. It has leaf-shaped zipper pulls.
It's so cute.
And inside there's plenty of room. There's actually a small zipper compartment there, which you can't really see, but there is a zipper compartment there, and that is where we keep one of the cables. And it's quite deep in there. And actually, without cases, I did see somebody else was able to fit 2 full-size switches in this back space. So that kind of tells you how big it is. And then this is the front space. And we actually put the Switch in its case in the front space. And it fits in there, so that's quite decent on size. And it feels structurally pretty good. I wouldn't say it was waterproof, but I would say it was water resistant, because it has a sort of plasticky feel to it. And it does have this, which is basically so it can kind of expand a little, like that. Yeah, so that's all of our accessories. Remember, and like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications every time we put up a video.